My first project was to develop a temperature sensor inside a mold jacket. A mold jacket is nothing but where your molten metal is poured and the QL monitoring is happening inside the complete mold jacket. But the problem over there is they have only a 3 gap inside the thermocouples, which is currently used for the temperature measurements. And that too, they require the distribution temperature measurement across this length of 1 meter, which is a very challenging task, which I have started. And later on, we come up with a solution called a development of waveguide based sensors. A waveguide is nothing but a thin wire, either it may be a metal or a ceramic rod, which I'll explain you in the next couple of slides, where we can have periodic markings along this wire and do a distributed temperature sensing across this location. So that was my PhD work, and that was the first industrial problem I was started working. And later on, we applied the same technology for a distributed temperature measurement. Lam research for everyone's awareness. Lam research is one of the top semiconductor manufacturing industry, which is lying in the Silicon Valley, USA, where they require the distributed temperature sensing of the pedestal they're having. So you have all your mobile phones, right? So all your mobile phones are having microchips inside it. So there are thin wafers that are doing the computational inside these mobile phones, which acts as the processors. So these wafers are being manufactured by this Lam research. So during manufacturing, they want to have a uniform temperature across their manufacturing process. Instead of having multiple precision thermocouples, they're unable to achieve it. The problem is with any conventional temperature measuring instruments or any conventional sensor that you have currently are capable of measuring a single point measurement only. Either it may be a thermocouple, either it may be a pressure transmitter or a flow line. You can extract only a single parameter using the thin sensors. And we came up with a novel idea of extracting distributed sensing using our waveguide sensors and multi-parameter extraction using our waveguide sensor, which has been awarded the Unlock Idea Award for 2017 and 18 from Lam Research, and we have received a cash prize of total of $50,000 for this technology. So they have sponsored it, and right now we are in the production stage. And after my PhD in 2018, we have been contacted by a glass manufacturer, Saint-Gobain, as you all know. They also face the same issues. As a temperature sensor, they also want to have a distributed sensing across their furnaces. So I worked a couple of years making this technology from laboratory to industry, which is because I've been from the development of this technology from scratch to an industry ready product, make it in the other way around. In order to deliver the products, so we have formed Zyma, so which is nothing but a wave analytics. So anything on the ultrasonic waves, so I am heading it. Successfully, Zyma has delivered its product to Saint-Gobain, and we are running field trials in most of the other industries also. This is a short story of my background. So this is how I ended up with an entrepreneurial series. So started my career as a scientist, wanted to be a scientist, but ended up as an entrepreneur, developing products to industry requirements. I believe most of you students or other people over here wants to have a safe and secure job. There are two aspects of it. A safe and secure job will continue to have a routine work along your process. If you want a challenge daily to be addressed, I would suggest everyone to listen to your heart and mind. So which work you are enjoying a lot, which work your thought process are gaining a lot, is the place where you want to move on. What is a startup? A startup is nothing but a normal industry or a private entity which we all used to develop. What is the difference between any startup and a technology startup? Opening a new Pizza Hut is also a startup, but Delivering the pizza through a drone will be a technology-based startup. That's There lies the difference between a deep tech startup and a normal startup. So Zyma is a deep tech startup. For deep tech startup, you need certain innovation to be there, and the market has to be identified, and scaling has to be done. I'll just run through this process of, if you have an idea, how you can be an entrepreneur or you can join an industry as an entrepreneur. First, you have to have an innovative idea. An innovative idea not necessarily need to be a new idea. It can be an improvement of an existing idea also. For example, everyone is running behind electronic vehicles. Purely because of one reason, we know we will not be having a renewable energy at some point of time. So we need an alternative to have an electrical vehicle to run the whole process, the transportation side. What if I am providing a much more efficient mileage to a vehicle? Then the need of electrical vehicle is already down. So we need to think in the other manner also. So how to improve any product should have an improved efficiency or an enhanced process product life. So if I can provide a mileage of 100 plus with a per liter of petrol, then people are going to buy only a petroleum product. Government is already working on it. That's where you see the difference of BS6 and BS7 and BN8, where they're improving the efficiency of the petroleum product with a reduced emission and an enhanced performance. So that's the innovation with the petroleum background. So if you have a new idea of developing a new product or an existing product improvement, that's your innovation. How you can claim that's your innovation? Either you need to have a patent claiming that this is the new innovation from the existing one, or you need to have a journal paper, at least a publication validating your technology, saying that this can be done at this point of time. I'm combining 3 or more flavors from different papers. I'm extracting it into a single recipe, and I'm having a new product. So this is going to be my innovation, and I'm the only skilled person to do it. So these are the key factors which determines what is the nature of your innovation. So you have a super duper product over with you, but without an end user, what is the need of having an innovative product? Let me give another example from the automobile industry itself. Everyone knows and F1 about the F1 race. People used to spend billions of dollars on the F1 race. What is the use of the F1 race for them? That gives each automobile industry a benchmarking saying that we are the number one manufacturers in the automobile background. That is the one-line story that's going to be handover. So all the billion-dollar people who are having a billion-dollar backup will buy the particular brand. For example, a Porsche or a Ferrari will be their own preferences. That's the market of theirs. Similarly, you need to identify what is the market which you are going to address and how to connect with those market end users and get their feedbacks and how better I can improvise the particular product. The third most important thing in your startup journey is the scaling of this product. For example, if you are making a pizza, or I'll give another example. I'm coming back from a tire industry. I'm making a new revolutionary tire, which is not going to get punctured at all. Then how am I going to sell my product repeatedly? This guy won't come back to me at least for 5 to 10 years till it get completely ruptured. Then what is the scaling of my product? There comes what is the market size you are going to address. That's why all the four-wheelers and most of the four-wheelers are having their tubeless tires, and if you find a cycle, the tubeless tires for cycle are very less because of the cost. in production side also. So you need to have a very big team who think process, whose thought process will enhance them on the purchase or the scaling up of their product, which is going to be a big impact or a scaling of their particular product to them. That's why you see most of the vehicles when a new product has been released, you have a waiting period for at least 3 to 4 months because the manufacturing capability is only close to 50 vehicles per day. So you need to have a scaling team which calculates this and how to address this particular issue. Whatever you have in the left hand side determines whether you are a startup or not. How to make this a successful startup? A successful startup needs mentors who are experienced not only in the particular field of technology development, but also on the other fields like finance, marketing, and also on the budgeting side and human resource management, how to contain people. Suddenly one of your friend team member will come and say that, sir, I got a new offer. I'm putting in between, so he may be the key person. How to retain those persons? So those guidance will be given by the mentors, because mentors will set up goals. They have good amount of experience in handling different peoples around the ecosystem, where they'll coach you to tackle difficulties. They'll coach you in tackling pressure from industries. They'll motivate you whenever you're down, and they'll share the knowledge. For example, if you want a particular product that has to be working for 5 years continuously, there are certain products in your mobile or in your chip itself, like a watch or a nowadays smart meters are coming with a 5 year warranty batteries. So how to identify the source? Through Google, you won't get it, or through importing, you won't get it. There are lots of restrictions. So they have the knowledge and support to help you in identifying the particular vendors and the particular suppliers in making your product much more robust to the industrial standards. Now you have a mentor and a product with a good amount of R&D that has been taken place. I want to accelerate it. I want to take my products to different countries apart from India. So then comes the incubator or an accelerator who helps you in identifying different industrial requirements and customizing your sensors or customizing your product to their particular addressing units. This is how an accelerator or incubator works. So an incubator or an accelerator mainly looks for two things. One is the innovation and the team. Most of the accelerators are also looking onto the scaling of their products so that they'll get some equity based on your funding, whatever you've been generating. And most importantly, whatsoever has happened, all the entrepreneurs has to focus on the growth of their particular company. There may be ups and downs immediately or at a later stage, but they have to motivate their team in addressing this successful to making them a successful entrepreneur. So this is how Zyma has still now a successful entrepreneurship company where we have our team, which is having most of the people from IITs and NITs. We have different sectors apart from the sensors. We have different sectors like data analytics has been taken care of one of our very big team, and we develop our own IoT dashboards. We also developing our own indigenously developed electronic components which help us to stop the importing from other countries and making the dream of our Prima PM in the Atmanirbhar Bharat and making India products. The place where you are working helps a lot in developing these startups. So while working in my Center for ND, so these are a list of startups that comes from the Center for ND. All these startups, close to 6 startups, are addressing only one particular issue in Indian community, that is the asset integrity monitoring, but in a different fashion. Each company is in expertise in different tools. For example, Dhwani Research is much more expert in the robotic systems for the industrial component inspection. For example, if you have a very big composite structure, Dhwani Research has a beautiful robotic tool to do the inspection remotely with an AI powered systems to it. And Detect Technologies, which is one of the successful startups from IIT ecosystem and a Forbes under 30 list company. So they develop NDE based sensors for pipeline monitoring system. And plan is underwater robotic system development, which is also last year's national award winners for the Startup India Awards. So they were the winners for last year's Startup India Award from the Startup India background. And Maximal will help you in the plant shutdown. So how this having an inventory to your plant asset monitoring. For example, if you're planning for a shutdown, what are the automations that has to be taken place and what are the inventory that has to be identified will be taken care by Maximal. And Solinos is mature enough in having small robots running along a pipeline in finding the debris inside the pipelines that is lying under the all the corporations which is carrying the waters inside it. A small robot will be running along the pipelines and identifying whether there is a crack or a debris inside this pipeline. And Zyma Analytics has its own sensors which also do the asset monitoring in addition to the other temperature monitoring and process monitoring parameters. So all the 6 startups here listed here are addressing a same single problem, asset integrity, but with specific tools added to their portfolios. Similarly, I would request everyone to have a thought process, having your own approach in identifying a particular problem. If you have a 4 to 5 people in a small project group, each one should come up with a different idea in addressing the same problem so that the best one can be finalized and can be vetted enough and matured enough to nurturing the dream of your idea. So I'll just go through the idea of what Zyma is developing. So we are developing sensors. So mostly you know about thermocouples or any conventional temperature measuring instruments. The problem is the failure of the sensors during operation is much more higher, purely because of 2 reasons. One, all the thermocouples are working on the CPAC effect principle, which has a junction together. Whenever there is a junction failure, then that's all. The sensor is going to be failed. The junction failure happens mainly because of 2 reasons. One is the extreme exposure to the high temperature environment, and also the following on the corrosion attack and the environmental sulfur attacks on the product will make the sensor to fail. What is the end effect of the sensor failure? You can change the sensor and replace the existing sensor. But during operational, an unplanned downtime to replace the sensor is costing close to $300K in oil and gas industry alone. And these refractory plants used to work continuously for 4 to 5 years. So they are unable to do a small shutdown to replace this particular thermocouples. So they'll carry their own IR cameras or a thermopyrometer to shoot it and find out what is the skin temperature acting on it. But exposure of that particular temperature without knowing the exact temperature of the surrounding medium, because the operator, based on his experience, will improve the increase the burners and make sure he is having an end product very good. But this leads to the early retirement of the components. That is, a pipeline is designed for a particular temperature and to be exposed only for the temperature at a particular time. If the thermocouple fails, your temperature is unknown. So the operator heats it to very high temperature in order to extract much more uh, oil from the crude oil which has been given. So the component itself will fail than the design years of working. So we provide with a novel web gateway sensor, enhanced with industrial IoT platform, and also with an AI-powered data solutions to it. So using our analytics tool, we can identify what is the three-dimensional temperature profile of the pipeline using a single data sets. These are few examples of where we have installed our sensors. And this is one of the give me a minute. What are you seeing over is a new patented technology of ours in the development of three ultrasonic wave modes simultaneously generated in a single wire to extract multiple parameters. What you're seeing over here is a waveguide sensor that has been installed in one of the refineries. This is the environmental inside this refinery where we have installed our sensor. We have also tested this sensor for very high temperature, close to 1400 degrees Celsius in our laboratory. You can see this is the first of its kind in the world to do a testing for a very high temperature using ultrasonics. I'll just play a small video for you to have a flavor of what Zyma does. Right?
So sorry for interruption. Whether the video has an audio, sir?
Yeah,
Whether it has an audio?
yeah, it has an audio. You are unable to hear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So there is one option in sharing. You can share the window, sir.
Oh, okay. Instead of the screen, I need to share the window.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay. So you are unable to hear.
Yeah, we can see it, but we are unable to hear.
Okay. Fine. Right. Let me open it again. Hope you will be able to hear it soon. Hear it?
No, sir. No, no, no addition issue, sir. No issue. So it can play. We can see it. No issue.
Right. Okay. So you can see the pipelines inside the refinery where we are installing the sensors inside the pipelines. Using a single wire, we can do a distributed temperature sensing across the line. The data from the sensor is transferred as per the industry protocol. Either it may be a Modbus or through LoRa or through a HART protocol, whichever is required. And our dashboard will have a digital twin to simulate the exact condition inside the furnace and will give a real-time notification to the end user having what is the temperature profile across this plant, which helps the plant to increase the process efficiency and reducing the downtime. Yeah, sorry about this audio background issue. I thought it would be solved, right? We go back to the presentation once again. So I'll run through the timeline of Zyma. So how Zyma evolved into a successful startup from IIT Madras. So during 2015 to 18, as I have told, during my PhD tenure in IITM, I have been involved in the development of technology in various industries, and carrying off multiple trials based on the industrial requirements, right from Tata Steel, Lam Research, and Saint Gobain, and understanding the industrial needs and addressing their pain points very specifically, and giving the output in the required form. For example, certain industries will ask us for the follow the hard protocol. Certain industries will ask us to follow the Modbus protocol. So very minute changes as also has been incorporated into the sensor, and making the sensor an industrial ready is the main target, taking your product from laboratory to the industries. So 18, after my PhD, this my one of my senior in the Center for NDE, who also worked on the same technology, has been awarded the best. This is award from IIT Madras, and currently is working as a faculty in NIT Warangal. And this technology has then received paid pilot trials. That is, whenever you are doing the testing in their laboratory or their industrial places, you will get paid for their trials because they have been very much interested in installing these sensors inside their process industries, which is going to reduce billions of dollars for them during a long-term operation. So they want these sensors to be ready as soon as possible. So we have made our own team to be there in one of their plants in Mumbai and installed it and refined it frequently within every week. So they are very happy on our engagement with them. Even they have provided us for the different opportunities to enter into their other laboratories and validate these sensors. And for the past 3 years, apart from the temperature sensing, these sensors are also tested for level sensing, rheology, and flow measurement sensing, where we are the consecutive winners for the past 3 years from the unlock grants from Lam Research Silicon Valley. So each year, 50,000 US dollars. So that's what this technology has won from 2017 to 19. And it is a very competitive and prestigious competition. So people across the globe will apply for the grant challenge, and we are one of the very few. Only out of the globe, they'll select only 5 applications to be the grant. So we are very fortunate to receive the grant for the past 3 years. And 2019, we presented the same idea to the IITM Research Park Board. They were very happy in having this IP-backed technology getting into a product. And soon after incorporating in May 2019, within 6 months, we have delivered our first product to Saint Gobain, which is a leading glass manufacturer. We have our patented technology granted from US, and we have also done the DP cell installation in 2020. And next year, we have, I hope within the next 6 months, you will get a very big announcement from IITM on the Jaima signing a very big deal with the global oil and gas lead. So we are in talks with them. Hope it comes through very well. And to the information of the students, so the Startup India is one of the major. So every startup will receive its DPIA certificate from the Startup India. So where if you have they'll validate your technology, where they'll validate your innovation. So based on the innovative technology only, they are allotting the DPIIT number. So you have to be very careful. So you can see the competition across the country itself. So we have 11,000 startups that is competing each others in becoming who is going to be the number one, right? So this is to give you an idea and a flavor of how India is thriving to be a successful startup company. Okay, so I think across the globe, second to Silicon Valley, India is planning to be the next Silicon Valley of the Asia when compared to North Korea or China, who are having lots of startups. But the deep tech startup is going to be coming out only from India. We believe so. And this is the global opportunity on the NDE market itself, which we are addressing. We have close to 8 billion is what the 2018 global market survey, and it is expected to reach by 18 billion US dollars. Even if you can capture a close to 1% of it, or a 0.1, let's put in 0.1%, then you are going to be $1 billion company. Apart from this, I would also like everyone to have an idea of what is the next future of most of the industries. Industry 4.0 is the everyone is going from automation to autonomous, all the major industries. So industrial IoT is one of the major field where people from computer science background or electronics background can look into it, and how a mechanical component can be IoT enabled in giving a prospective feedback to the end user is one of the major challenge that still remains unanswered in most of the industries. And people who are interested in framing standards and codes will also be of interest, because currently there is no standard codes of how an IoT sensor has to be enabled inside in any of the component. So if you are uh, very good enough in developing a new IoT platform, probably you may also be one of the global people in addressing framing the standards for IoT in industrial installations. And cloud computing, people doesn't want the response to be taken somewhere and doing the post processing there itself. So everyone wants the post processing to be done in the remote places, where TPU, total processing units on the edge computing, has to be done remotely, and only the respective results has to be communicated to the end user. So when you do most of the sensor installations and most of the data, so how you are going to handle tons of data that is going to be analyzed? What is the cyber security that is going to be playing a major role inside the hardwares or inside your servers where it's going to handle the data? There is also a major challenge or the major area which I feel is going to be the next biggest, because everyone is having a data, and how the data has to be secured and how that data can be efficiently handled is going to be the next challenging area in the near future. And of course, AR, VR in the NDE and other field, and digital twin is coming up with the, for most of the mechanical engineers. So I believe those students has to have to enhance their skills in the digital twin platform with some coding knowledge. So no longer a mechanical engineer doesn't know coding. Every mechanical engineer has to know some coding also to make sure he runs in the field, right? So I believe so. And deep learning, machine learning for the AI-based decision making system is going to be the next future in most of the autonomous industries. For example, either it may be a vehicle dynamics that has to be done, or how you are running most of the hours in the finite element modeling, how it can be reduced, how the physics models can be involved in identifying the next failure, near failure of this product. So everything is depending on the deep learning and the machine learning concept, and that is one of the major area which I believe is going to be a much more challenging for most of the mechanical engineers in the startup area, where there is a very big void in mechanical based AM and MA systems. So finite element based modeling and the computational converting it into machine learning and analytics tool is going to be challenging for most of the engineers, and still there is a void in Indian startup industry. Of course, advanced robotics, people have been much more in the robotics side. I think robotics is going to be uh, in the underwater robotics is what is going to be the next near future for Indian markets. With this, I thank the team for giving me an opportunity, and I believe fellow students who were here will also be an entrepreneur in some day and making the dream of a prime minister and making this country a Atmanirbhar Bharat and a Make in India country. Right? Thank you very much. Thank you all.
So thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It was really an enthralling speech, and you rightly differentiated between an innovation and an innovation-based startup, and how a technical or a tech startup can shape up. And you've also mentioned the role of mentors for a successful startup. So it was really a great speech. And another thing I really I was having a own approach in addressing problem is also making sense. I think for the students to approach a problem, how you want to approach the problem and make it as a big and convert it as a startup. And your journey from scientist to entrepreneur is also interesting, sir. So now the
Okay.
forum is open for questions. So students and participants, you can ask questions or doubts, you can clarify with our resource person. So you can unmute yourself, or else you can ask your question in the chat box. So I'm again asking your participants, you can ask questions by unmuting yourself, or else you can chat your questions. Sir, there is a question.
Okay.
Mr. Arun Kumar is asking, can you share the benefits of a firm when registered under startup?
Yeah, so the main benefit is you will be entitled for tax free for 3 years, and 7 years you have lots of there are no compliances that has to be followed, and you can get connected to various mentors through online itself. Lots of if you enter into the Startup India website, there are lots of list 18-page report is there for what are the benefits for startup.
I hope it will be helpful for him. Any other questions? Sir, Ashwin from mechanical engineering is asking, you stated the difference between a general startup and a technical startup. Which one of the two do you think will be most effective and beneficial?
Okay, I'll ask you itself. Uh, which is more successful, KFC or Tesla?
So I think KFC.
No, KFC is not the biggest one. If you check into the market, currently Tesla is valued around $343 billion. KFC has not reached that mark. It's, I think, close to only $20 billion. So you can see the difference. Okay. So
So that means a
Tesla. So
technical startup can go big.
yeah. See, the value of technical startup is very high, sir, uh, because the end user is very high. Because government or a private entity will make the technical is much more required. You are not only offering your company, you are also offering to a wide range of companies. You can adapt it to different range of companies. For example, the sensor which we are manufacturing are suitable for a wide range of right from oil and gas manufacturer, aircraft manufacturers, and from a glass manufacturer, steel manufacturer, or a processing unit where they want to maintain a particular monitoring system will also be addressed by us. So your area of the market, that's what I told you, right? The market is very high, whereas the end user for an retail outlet is very low. Okay, so even if you can do the same service for Rolls Royce and also to an Airbus. Okay, if you're good in marketing it.
Sir, another question. How a common man with a thrive to become an entrepreneur can approach IITM incubation center?
Yeah, first you need to have a patent with you with an idea. So IIT has its own internal committee. So they'll evaluate, you need to submit a form based on your patents and what is your idea. So if the internal committee is satisfied, you'll be called for a presentation. If they're not satisfied, you will be rejected. Then based on the presentation, they'll take a decision whether to take it forward or not.
Okay, sir. Hope it helps. So do a common man need a granted patent to approach IIT Madras for a startup?
Yeah. So first of all, what is your idea and what is your technology that is backing, and how it is going to be different from other companies or other startups that are doing the same thing? It's one thing.
Okay, thank you, sir. Another question. Uh, is the IP, intellectual property rights, is confined only with the patent or other rights too, sir?
Yeah. So you have a trademark rights also needs to be there. That's what I hope that's what you're asking. IP is confined only with the patent or other rights too. What is that other rights in the sense?
Sir, which means that for approaching IITM Research Park, whether the applicant should have only patents or if for example, if I'm going to focus on a design, so apart from technical, I want to become a common entrepreneur and not a technopreneur. So in that aspect, I'm going to work on certain designs, and
I,
in
I
that,
don't I don't think so because IIT is only focused on deep tech startups.
okay, fine.
But there are other startups like the Atal innovation startups sponsored by Government of India. Okay, so you can approach them and use their facilities in having a 3D. So they'll provide certain 3D printing facilities to you, and you can improve it there. So
Yeah.
most of the central universities has their own startup hub right now,
Yes.
and you can approach one of the design institute also.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine. So, sir, so far, how many companies have been incubated by IITM Research Park, sir? That is
I think
incubated.
close to 300 plus.
300 plus, yeah. Okay, fine, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Participants, are you done with your questions? So I think it's time to wind up. So I
Right?
once again
Okay.
thank.
Okay. So thank you very much.
So on behalf of our college, Ramco Institute of Technology and Department of Mechanical Engineering, I thank you very much, sir. It was really informative, and the session was completely filled with knowledge sharing points. So thank you once again. Thank you very much for the participants for their patient listening and their interaction with the guests. Thank you. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. So you have
Thank
a
you. Thank
feedback
you.
link posted in your chat box. It will be only active for 10 minutes. So you can give us your valuable feedback. After filling that form, you'll get a certificate to your registered email ID. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sir,
Thank you.
thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Thank you. So good luck, students. So thank you all. So ping me if anything is required. I mean, like the LinkedIn and I think my email ID is also provided. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thank you. So participants, you can now leave the meet. Thank you.